Marist kicks off a non-conference game in just a little under an hour as the above 500 Red Foxes travel to Pennsylvania to take on Penn. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Red Fox Pregame Show alongside Mike Duda, Pat Sypher. I'm William Rosen. Guys, a very productive and a fun weekend this past weekend.
Family weekend. There was a crowd of a little over 4,000, but guys, it felt like a lot more. It felt like a Tenny Stadium record of 7,000 plus. A great game for the Red Foxes. Upset victory against the University of San Diego, and the defense was just incredible.
I mean, you said it. Great game by the Red Foxes. They're 3-2 now. A lot of reason for optimism. Tell us more about that game where the Red Foxes looked oh so strong.
It was some fun on Family Weekend as the Foxes host the San Diego Toreros. Less than a minute to go in the first. San Diego up 7-0. But Sonny Menino, he's got a cannon, and he's going to show it off. 67-yard bomb and a house call for Lance Martinez. Menino airing it out for a near career high in passing yards. 2 touchdowns as well, but Marist would miss the PAT. Therefore, they're down 1, but it doesn't matter. Lance Martinez goes for it again. 35-yarder this time. He finished with 106 receiving yards and 2 TDs. Red Foxes would miss the 2-point conversion. Therefore, San Diego has a chance. Dom Nankill looking to air it out, but Nate Furrow says no. He ends this one as the Red Foxes hold on to get their first conference win of the season, and a very, very impressive one here, guys. PFL favorites, the University of San Diego, they received FCS national votes, and Marist, with just 1 win last year, they come in, they show they're a new team, beating USC last week.
And it comes down to the performance of Sonny Menino, their quarterback. He got banged up earlier in the year, but oh boy, did he recover. He got close to his career high in passing yards in this game. He was outstanding throughout the day. He was willing to run again, but he also had some great throws, read the offense, executed it well, did a great job, but he had some help doing that, didn't he?
Yeah, when you look at the depth chart on the wide receiver end, Lance Martinez is not there. The redshirt freshman improved his depth chart stock with this unbelievable performance. He had 2 touchdowns in 3 receptions, 106 yards. Mike Willis told me that he was pivotal. He opened up the offense. You saw it on those long, deep plays, especially later in the third quarter on the 4th and 3 touchdown, breaking free after contact. Martinez got it done, and he's a redshirt freshman, but he's so strong, just like some other wide receivers on this team.
How about a guy that's the same age and, like you said, pretty low on the depth chart to enter the season? A guy with just 4 catches last year, and he had 5 in 1 game alone on 53 yards, and that's Jeremy DeCaro. He looked phenomenal. And, Pat, I mean, it's not just him, right?
There's other guys. There's absolutely other guys in this receiver room. It's a deep room of guys.
We talked about them. DeCaro, Martinez, Connor Holstein. It was the first game last week. They didn't have a receiving touchdown, but he still had 3 catches for 55 yards. Tristan Shannon also tallied 3. Jack Mallory had 2. 12 different players were targeted on the receiving front last week, guys. 10 of them with 1 reception or more.
The offense right now is just so spread out. It looks like they're playing with free will, very different than last year. You got to give TJ Weil some credit on this one. He's opening up the offense, and the line is working fantastic.
Yeah, and you mentioned DeCaro and how he has looked and made a name for himself as a receiving weapon. But in order to make a name for yourself as a receiving weapon, you have to play well on the third phase, special teams. He has looked outstanding, stepping in for Tristan Shannon, who isn't playing as much of a special teams role, and he looks just as good as a return specialist. Last week's PFL Special Teams Player of the Week, he totaled 87 yards in punt returns and averaged 12.5 yards per return. The redshirt freshman really is making a name for himself on that side of the ball.
Yeah, the Family Weekend contest against San Diego was a special teams battle, especially in that first half. Ethan Yuska, the punter for the Red Foxes, 12 punts, almost 40 yards per punt. 4 landed inside the San Diego 20-yard line. This guy was unbelievable, Mike.
3 of them were inside the 10. This guy was inside the 5 often. He was giving Marist such good field possession to work with on the defensive front, and therefore only 14 points against. Yuska was incredible.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then you look at the defensive side of the ball, that other phase, and they were stout there. They had 2 sophomores that had a great day. One of them won PFL Defensive Player of the Week with 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and 8 total tackles, all of which season highs for him.
Yeah, what was Mike Horan telling his defense on some of these new defensive schemes?
Well, Furrow is a downhill linebacker. You get him on a delayed blitz, the rest of the defensive line slanting the other way, that's going to cause issues, and it did in this game.
A lot of communication right now, especially with Nate Robinson, one of the star players in the whole country.
He's a sophomore, yet he's still a captain. That tells you a lot about the quality of this guy. A smart, instinctive player that covers a lot of ground. Last game, he had a career-high 4 PBUs. Outstanding performance by Robinson, who San Diego just kept trying, and it just simply didn't work.
There's just so much to say about Nate Robinson Jr. and William. I know you got to catch up with them to talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, you know it, Mike. Just a few days after Marist took down San Diego, I caught up with Nate Robinson Jr. We are joined by Marist football defensive standout by way of San Antonio, Texas, Nate Robinson Jr. Nate, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course, I thank you guys for having me.
You guys this past weekend took down San Diego in front of a packed Tenny Stadium, 19-14. Just take me through that win and what that meant for you guys.
Yeah, going into the week, it's always, this week is the most important game on our schedule, but you definitely go into it with a little chip on your shoulder knowing our historical lack of success against San Diego. So it was good to finally see it come to fruition. We were able to make a lot of plays and put on a good show for Family Weekend.
You were named FCS Stats National Defensive Player of the Week. What does that accolade mean to you?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was something that I didn't really know was kind of possible or something I could see myself getting in the future. And so, to see it come to fruition, and then my coaches, my teammates, and God putting me in a position to make a whole bunch of plays. It was awesome to see it kind of come to fruition on the large scale.
After that award was awarded, what was your mindset going into the following games?
Yeah, the following game was kind of just don't let yourself get too big-headed. We kind of go by this saying that you can smell perfume but not to drink it, and so it was kind of just focusing on the next thing on at hand and just staying focused on the next goal, which is just getting a win each week.
You've gotten a win last week, 26 total tackles for you, and this defense looks like it's turned on right now. What's working on this defensive side?
Yeah, I think obviously just buying into the coaches and the program, and then just the overall chemistry and camaraderie that we have as a group. It's kind of easy to go out there and play hard when you're having a whole bunch of fun with guys that you trust and know have your back.
It looks like you guys are having a lot of fun. What's Coach Willis and Coach Horan, what are they kind of implementing into these practices, into pre-games? How is it becoming a fun environment for them?
Yeah, I think it's just, allowing the energy to be authentic, allowing to just what the players have, allowing them to put it on the field and display their true talents. And so each and every week they give us the opportunity and put us in position to be successful, and it's up to us to go out there and do it. And so far, and hopefully it keeps going, we've been able to do so.
What specifically have the coaches implemented on the defensive end and for you specifically?
Yeah, just being, fast, physical, and together, going out there hitting hard and running hard and hustling to the ball at all times. It's kind of the motto that we live by.
This season, it feels like the pace is a little different. You guys are obviously winning a little more. You already have 3 wins on the young season. What are some key differences from last year to this year?
Yeah, I think kind of just taking it a week-by-week step, not looking at the season, 1 week at a time as a totality of, a judgment of the whole year. And so each and every week, it's kind of easy when you get a little wind in your sails, getting that first win to start off the year. And we're kind of just trying to carry it week to week. And so, going out there, giving it all we have.
You guys are on the defensive end, and how important is it to make that stand for the ever-improving offense right now?
Yeah, I think, defensively it's kind of easy to bring energy because you kind of have a little more opportunity to get big hits and stuff like that. And so for us, it's kind of just about bringing life to the field and bringing life to the team. And so if we could go out there and do that and energize our offense, then we have no problem doing that.
You have the offense being energized, the defense being energized, the special teams being energized, but the whole energy right now is Tenny Stadium and this Marist Red Fox. You have the touchdown club, you have the Tenny stands. How important are the fans?
Yeah, I like I said, my mom, one of the biggest supporters that we have, she comes up every home weekend and tries to make the away wins as she can. And so people like that, knowing that we have that support on our back, in addition to the wins that we're getting, it makes it so easy to go out there and have fun and just do what you can.
I spoke to your mom a few weeks ago. She caught me at the game, and she said that she tries to make it to every single game. Yeah. How important is she, especially her presence in Tenny Stadium?
Yeah, being from Texas, sometimes it gets a little difficult being so far from home. So her being able to come up kind of brings that home to me wherever I'm at. So it makes it really easy to come out here and just play ball.
besides for when she comes? What's the biggest Texas thing that you miss here in Poughkeepsie, New York?
I'd say probably the Mexican food.
Okay.
You know, Poughkeepsie, they try.
Okay, they try. There are a few
nearby
places.
restaurants. Yeah, but it doesn't really compare yet to as the places I've been.
What's the food selection choice?
I'm getting me a chicken fajita nachos.
Okay.
Give me some queso, everything on there. Just give me
Everything.
it all.
Fajita nachos?
Yes.
Yes. We gotta talk about that.
Yeah, I know. I'll put you on.
Okay,
I'll put
please
you
do.
on. Yeah.
I don't know if they have that in Pennsylvania. You're heading to go down to Penn. You're facing them this coming week.
Yeah.
What's the whole team mindset as it's the last non-conference game of the season?
Yeah, non-conferences, they allow you to bring a bigger travel party, so we're hoping to bring the whole Red Fox Army down there. And, like I say, it's just on a week-to-week basis, so each week, if we can continue to get better by the end of the season, when we look back, we'll see a whole bunch of wins in that column, so it's just about improving each week.
Would you say that this Penn game is another ramp-up opportunity, or are you looking to really improve on the mark?
Yeah, I think each week you kind of go out there, you're just trying to improve on the things that you do well, not trying to play up or down to your opponent. So if we go there, play our Marist Red Fox game, we have nothing to worry about.
Well, fajita nachos are certainly a plus, but this young man, Nate Robbins, a junior, you've had a great season, and Marist looking like they're climbing up. So thank you so much.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Nate Robinson, just a standout guy, the type of guy I want to have on this type of show.
I want to have him on a show where we review the Tex-Mex food he was talking about. That's great.
Hey, now you got me hungry, so let's slow it down. This is the Red Fox Pregame Show, not the Red Fox Cooking Show yet, right?
It is for now, but it's Marist that we've been talking about. We got to talk about UPenn. They had a rivalry game against Dartmouth. Pat, how did that look like?
Well, the Quakers, they headed over to New Hampshire to face the defending Ivy League champion, Dartmouth, as we see O'Brien find BZ Owens in the back of the end zone, capping off a 24-point second quarter with his second touchdown of the game. But now in the third, we're going to see O'Brien connect with Caden Olsen for another touchdown as Olsen finishes through contact for the score. The quarterback turned receiver took a big hit as he put the Quakers up 2 scores. And now in the fourth, we're going to see UPenn try and get something going as Saunier throws an interception to Fearon, who tipped it to himself for his first collegiate pick. Setting up O'Brien for a 1-yard rushing touchdown, Penn logs their first win at Dartmouth since 2013.
Very impressive feat indeed, but like you were talking about in that highlight read, Pat, it was really all Captain Liam O'Brien. He looked great. 6 passing touchdowns so far this year. That's second in the Ivy. 3 rushing TDs. That's third in the Ivy. Guys, he's a quarterback. 701 passing yards, third in the Ivy. Nearly 100 rush yards last week. He has looked really good with that 4-touchdown performance last week.
Mike, Marist has quite the quarterback room and quite the wide receiver room.
As does Penn. Jared Richardson, he looks great. Second in the Ivy in receiving yards, 281. Tied for first in the Ivy in receptions with 20, receiving touchdowns with 3, and tied with his teammate in receptions per game with 6.7. Now, it doesn't end there. Just like Marist on the special teams front, you got to look out for Julian Stokes. 29.4 yards per return on the punting front. That's first in the Ivy by 21 yards. He also has a touchdown on that front. Kicking, 29.9 per return. He was the Ivy League Special Teams Player of the Week last week. Definitely some factors and commonalities between Marist and UPenn to look out for.
UPenn can be very threatening. And I'm starting to wonder, what does Marist have to do in order to go toe-to-toe with them?
Well, let's go to Hayden Shapiro, the center field football beat reporter. Hayden, what are your keys to the game for this Marist side?
Thanks, Will. Marist needs to take advantage of a weak Penn defense. They've given up nearly 30 points per game this season, and they also really struggle at stopping the chunk plays. Marist might not hit that home run play that they were doing so well last week, but this week, short passes, yards after catch with screens, drags, flats, that can win the Red Foxes this contest.
Yeah, thanks, Hayden. That's great. Mike, what is your key to the game?
We looked at that USD game, and there was just so much positive going on the offensive front in terms of the passing game. Do more of the same. Start looking at more of those guys. You had 12 different guys with a target, 10 different guys with a reception. Go for that again. Use your weapons. Connor Holstein, Lance Martinez, 4 and 3 receiving touchdowns respectively, over 200 yards each. Reed Shumpert, Jeremy DeCaro, 15 and 14 receptions respectively, and over 100 yards for both of them. You got 5 players with double-digit receptions on this team. Spread it out if you're Sonny Menino in this offense, particularly on the passing game.
We've unlocked 2 keys right now. Let's go to the third one. Pat, what's yours?
Well, Sonny Menino is the engine for this offense. But to get an engine going, you need to get some fuel. And the offensive line is absolutely the fuel for this offense. And they need to start playing better. Marist allowed 18 sacks, which is the most in the PFL by 4. Keep in mind, some teams played another game, played one more game than them. So they're at a disadvantage in that way. And now they're trying some new things offensively up front with freshman Giancarlo Scirocco at center and Samuel Malores at tackle. They're trying new things with those freshmen now in the game. It's going to be interesting to see if those guys could step up and the offensive line can really start protecting the skill position.
Yeah, and with a very dangerous Penn team, especially on that offense side, Marist can't rely as much on special teams. They saw it, 12 punts by Ethan Yuska, and you want to give credit where credit is due. The punting was sensational. But it's very hard to win a football game when you punt 12 times. And that goes for any team in any level of football. You have to rely on what's working so far. And yes, the special teams are, but the other side of the special teams on the return side, but the offense, the defense, they have to come together and let Yuska maybe take a little bit of a rest day as they head into this matchup. Final thoughts as we close this one out?
To go off what you were saying, William, that passing game looks strong. The run game really wasn't there. So if you establish that run game a little bit more, like you said, Yuska doesn't have to come out as much. As great as he's been, you don't want to see him out there all the time. You want to put up some points if you're this Marist offense.
Yeah, the Red Foxes as a whole, they put together some strong performances, but I think this one's going to be about staying ahead of the chains. Let that defense keep doing what it's doing, but the offense can't keep shooting itself in the foot. It can't keep being one step forward, 3 steps back all the time. They have to consistently get moving offensively.
It's going to be a tough Friday interleague matchup between Penn and Marist. Kickoff in just a little bit.